What's up, everyone? Welcome to Therapy Unveiled. It's been a minute, y'all. It's been a minute since I posted a video, and I just want to say thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for anticipating another dope episode. For those who are new to Therapy Unveiled is all about talking about topics that I discuss with my clients in therapy. So kind of give you a little sneak peek of what therapy is like. Of course, confidentiality is 100% covered and respected. So I don't tell you any detail of my clients. So it's more about the topic, because I'm sure the topics that I'm talking about with my clients in session, I'm sure topics that you can relate to. And so I hope that Therapy Unveiled, the different episodes, are giving you tips and strategies that my clients learning in therapy that you can learn as well, that can help you live your best life. And so today's episode actually was voted by my Live and Speak Life community. I sent out a survey and asked, what topics would you like to learn about and with Therapy Unveiled? And so 2 were voted top, and today is one of those. And it's all about self-forgiveness. Yes. Yes. This is a tough one. And let me tell you, I talk to many clients about how to self-forgive, because there are so many different emotions like shame and guilt and blame that prevent my clients, and maybe you too, from being able to move forward and being able to heal from past mistakes. And so today's episode is all about, how do you self-forgive? How do you get to a point where you're able to forgive yourself from choices you made in the past, and or detach, let go of responsibilities you put on yourself that actually isn't your responsibility. You're taking the blame for it when it really isn't even yours. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so first, let's just talk about the impacts of unforgiveness. And these impacts we're going to specifically talk about with ourselves, but it also applies when we don't forgive others as well. And so one of the impacts is that we end up developing shame, guilt, and blame. And within those emotions, we struggle with being able to let go, because the shame, right? The shameful thoughts are saying, how could you? Oh, so stupid. Why would I even do that? I wish I never did this before. I don't even deserve forgiveness because of what I did. It's that replay, that replay of just judgment on yourself. Now, let me be clear. There is healthy shame and unhealthy shame. And I know that might be surprising, because most of the time when we talk about shame, we talk about how unhealthy it is for us. But there is healthy shame, right? It is okay to recognize, I shouldn't have did that. It's okay to feel a little embarrassed about a mistake you made or something you said that was hurtful to somebody else, right? But the healthy shame sounds and looks like this, where you feel maybe upset or embarrassed, maybe a little bit regretful about an action you made, but then you're like, you know what? That's so I'm going to be able to move forward from that, because of this mistake doesn't define who I am. I'm able to do better next time, right? So the shame helps you, right? Take ownership and say, that wasn't the best idea. That wasn't the best decision I made. I wasn't my best that day, right? But then it allows you to move forward and say, in spite of all that, right? I am able to make this better. I am able to move forward. Unhealthy shame, however, keeps you stuck in it. There is no moving forward. Unhealthy shame is recognizing what you did was wrong, or recognizing that it wasn't your best selves, but then keeping you there, right? And then the thoughts that are coming up are all these judgmental thoughts that you're having about yourself because of that action you made. And so you're just constantly kind of like digging yourself more and more in that hole, right? Replaying the incident over and over again. How embarrassing that was. I couldn't believe I did that. What were other people thinking? People probably think that I'm a horrible person because of this, right? The shame is just constantly keeping you there. And then there's the guilt, right? When we don't forgive, the guilt just eats us up, where we end up just feeling guilty about it. And we're constantly, again, replaying the situation over and over again. And we're just feeling so much pain about how I hurt this person and how I made them feel, and or how I, the action that I made and how it impacted a certain community or a certain group of people. And we're just feeling guilty about that. And then the third emotion that unforgiveness causes us to have is blame. When now we're taking responsibility because of our actions. And again, we're getting stuck in that, right? It's because of me that this person is no longer to live their best life. It's because of me that this person now stuck in this situation, right? It's because of me that now my family has been impacted in this way, right? And so the blame causes you to be stuck in this responsibility of other people's lives. And a lot of times the blame takes us so far that we're taking responsibility for things that we actually have no control over. And so that unforgiveness keeps us stuck in those different emotions, and it becomes unhealthy. One of my clients, we've been really working, we're still working. We've been really working in this self-forgiveness piece, because within her relationship, about 6 or 7 years ago, in the beginning of her relationship, she wasn't the most honest or truthful with her partner. And so because of that, that caused a lot of pain and hurt for her partner. And still to this day, her partner brings up how much that caused pain and hurt for him. And so because he keeps bringing it up, he's not able to move forward. She's not able to move forward. There's no forgiveness happening. And she constantly is having shameful thoughts about who she is as a person. And she's like, well, logically, if I did that to him and he's still hurtful, then I'm to blame for why we're not working out. I'm to blame for why we keep getting into this, we're still stuck in this situation. Why we're not able to have good communication. It's because of me. And then it's the shameful of, am I even a good person? Am I even someone that tells the truth? Can I truly say that I'm a trustworthy person if I lied in the past? That's what her shaming thoughts are saying to herself. And so it's keeping her, as you can see, keeping her stuck in the situation. And also taking responsibility for her entire relationship, even though it's her partner's responsibility too. He has to be able to forgive so they can move forward. So why they're stuck in this situation is not just because of her, what she did 7 years ago, right? They both have to work on the forgiveness piece. But because it keeps coming back to your past actions is why I feel this way, the blame comes on to her. And so she's stuck and not able to move forward because of this. And so I really challenge you to think about this right now. Is there any areas in your life where you have not forgiven yourself for? It might have been 7 years ago. It might have been yesterday. But are you finding yourself feeling shameful about it? Are you finding yourself blaming yourself, condemning yourself over and over again about what you did? Having these should thoughts. I should have did this better. I should have said that instead. I can't believe that I did that. How people are probably thinking about me in a negative way now. How are people looking at me now? Like all these thoughts keeping you stuck and not able to move forward. And think about, how is that impacting how you view your worth and your value? How does it impact how you see yourself? Is it causing you to no longer be able to look at yourself with a sense of feelings of proud? Is it causing you to no longer to be able to look at yourself and see the worth and value that you still have? And if that's the case, what we're going to talk about next is how you can begin this process of self-forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is a journey. This is not you watch this video and bam, I forgave myself and I'm good. It's a healing journey. It's a healing journey, because if you've been holding on to these emotions for years, right? You can't expect 7 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years of hurt and pain to disappear in 2 minutes. So it's a healing journey. So give yourself the compassion. We're going to be talking about all of this. The things what you need to help yourself forgive is what we're going to talk about now. So the first thing is you want to be able to give yourself some grace. So let's talk about what grace is. Grace is when we receive good things even when we don't deserve it. We might have made a mistake. We might have did something horrible. We might have, hurt someone. And yet, in spite of, good things still happen to us. That's grace. And so part of self-forgiveness is looking at yourself and recognizing that in spite of the hurt I may have caused, in spite of the pain I may have caused, I still deserve to have good things happen to me. I still deserve a second chance. I still deserve to be able to grow from this and become better because of it. That's grace. And so the first step is giving yourself that grace. Instead of saying, I don't deserve it. Instead of saying, I no longer have worth or value. It's okay for people to be mad at me forever because I don't deserve their forgiveness. Recognize that, no, I'm still a human being. And human beings make mistakes. We're not perfect. And in spite of all that, as a human being, I still have dignity and I still have worth and value. The second area is self-compassion. When we think about self-compassion, we're talking about being gentle with yourself. And so when we're having that shame, blame, and guilt thinking, right? It's loud, it's aggressive, it's hurtful. There's a lot of judgment in it, right? We're not gentle at all. There's no gentleness happening. Self-compassion is where you become gentle towards yourself. Where you say, it's okay. It's okay. I made a mistake. And people might be upset with me, but it's okay because I am capable of moving forward. I'm capable of doing better. I'm capable of learning from this. Yes, I wasn't my best self. That's okay. Many people are not their best selves. Many people have stories of not showing up as their best. And I had a bad moment. But yet in spite, I can turn things around, right? Where you're being more gentle, where you're stroking your own back, right? You're giving yourself a hug, that hug that you need. Be gentle to yourself. And then the third one is empathy. When you think about what empathy is when we are being understanding to someone's situation. When we allow ourselves to kind of step out of our own emotions or our own experience and just think about what happened to this person and try to understand the why behind their behavior. And so that's what you do for yourself. You step back, step out of that shame, step out of that blame, step out of the guilt, and think back to that situation and really go back to thinking about what was happening during that time. What was happening to me at that time? Why did I respond in that way? And be empathetic towards that, right? It's like, you know what? I was hungry. I was irritable. People were coming at me left and right. I was feeling a lot of pressure and I just exploded. And I was not thinking. I was just reacting. And I realize now that wasn't the best response, but in the moment, I was so overwhelmed. That was the best way I knew how to respond. Empathy. Now, empathy doesn't mean you're giving an excuse for your behavior. You're just understanding the why behind the behavior. And so give yourself some empathy. And so let's do a recap, right? Ways to start. Again, start the process because self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others is a journey. So the way to start the process is giving yourself grace, even in spite of, even if you don't even deserve good things based on what it happened, even based on that you don't deserve the forgiveness, or you technically need to have consequences, nothing good should happen to you, grace is saying it's okay, you still deserve it. You still deserve good things, even in spite of all that. That's what grace is saying. Self-compassion is when you're being gentle to yourself. And so you're not yelling at yourself, or you're not judging yourself. You're just being compassionate. You're giving yourself that hug that you need. You're speaking to yourself in those kind words that you need to hear. And the third one is empathy, where you allow yourself to go back to that moment and think about the why behind your behavior, the why behind the choice that you made. And a lot of times when we look back, we realize, you know what? With the information I had at that time, I truly thought I was doing the best thing. Now, days later, months later, years later, I have more knowledge and I realize it wasn't, but I didn't have that same knowledge back then. And so in that moment, I truly was doing what I thought was best. That's how you begin to have that self-forgiveness. Grace, self-compassion, and empathy. And those three things help you defeat the unhealthy shame, the blame for things that you don't have any control over or that you should be taking responsibility of, and the guilt. It helps remove those three feelings that are keeping you stuck. And those other three, the compassion, the grace, and the empathy, helps you move forward. And so I hope this frees you from areas in your life where you feel stuck, where you haven't been able to move forward, where you haven't been able to forgive. I hope this video helps you begin your self-forgiveness journey. If you want to hear more about different topics, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, Speak Life Transformation, so you can check out other videos that I've put out, and also you get notifications when I post a new video. Also, you can check me out on Instagram at SpeakLife_SLT. You can also check me out on Facebook at SpeakLife_SLT as well. Until I see you guys again, make sure you be bold, be safe, and speak life.